Hello, Anthony Pandadetto. This is Peter Von Panda here. Just want to show you a device that I have and been just using now briefly is the Hyperjuice Plug, and this is a 15,000 plus milliamp portable battery. It's got, as I'm sure you know or have seen in other videos, it has two USB ports. It is capable of charging two USB powered devices, two tablets, iPhones, whatever you've got. It also has this retractable plug. The way it works, and I wasn't sure if it just slid out and was held in by friction, but you actually have to push it down, slide it forward, and then it pops into that little groove, the groove there, or the cutout you can see, and that holds it in place. So if I push it, you'll hear it snap. And so these prongs will not go back in until you push this down, and it snaps also back into place here. You can't move it forward without pushing it down. So that's nice that the prongs actually have a little bit of a locking mechanism that holds it in place here. The stats on this are pretty awesome. A lot of people have said this looks like an Apple device. It's obviously the case kind of replicates the look of an iPhone 5. The plastic here is a little bit thin, but it's overall it's a pretty nice piece. And then again, the battery power status indicator is just activated by pushing this button. You can see it's fully charged right now. All 5 LED lights lit up. One of the things that I did want to show you is how it plugs into an outlet, and specifically show you that you either need that vertical outlet or what you're going to have to do if you don't have one. And then one thing I want to point out just before I do that is that right here, in some of the pre-production models, or in the videos from the manufacturer I saw early on, had a mini USB plug right there. And I believe that it was an input so that if you had a mini USB cord, you could charge it from your computer or an adapter into an AC outlet or something like that. I'm a little disappointed that it's not there. I know it's not totally usable, but there's been 2 instances where I could have used it. And one of them, obviously charging from a laptop is probably going to take forever. This takes about 12 to 15 hours to recharge from a dead state. And so charging off a laptop with its low current is probably a very long procedure. But I've noticed that on some of my solar chargers, they have power outputs or they have a USB cord or USB plug where you can plug in a cord, and you could use a mini USB cable to charge this off a thing like a solar charger. I've also ran into a situation where I was at a camp and they have charging stations, and even in some kind of outdoor malls and things like that, they have various charging stations, and they don't have an outlet per se. They just have a plethora of charging cables in different formats for different phones, and obviously one of those is typically the mini USB. And so since they don't have an outlet, the prong is kind of useless. And if you had a little time and wanted to make some calls and were just hanging out with a cup of coffee or something, the mini USB port would be useful there as well. So again, a little disappointed. I feel like they probably took it off for cost, and as well as it just doesn't charge very quickly, but it would have been nice to have that option, especially if you're camping for a long period of time and have a solar panel. I want to quick show you that how this plugs in and some of my tribulations with it. And obviously if it's plugged in vertically, you kind of want to plug it with the mass down so it's pivoting into the wall. No big deal there. Pretty self-explanatory. Or if you have a power strip on the floor, that's a great way to plug it in. But if you have a horizontal outlet like this, there is pretty much no way that it's going to hold itself. And I'm not even going to let this go because I feel like it will just torque, it'll just twist the prongs because this is pretty heavy. And even the 10,000 milliamp battery is probably going to have a similar problem, not as bad as this. But what you're going to either have to do is get some books or something to prop this up and kind of hold the weight, or you're going to want to carry one of those 1 foot long extension cords, which I do carry in my backpack, but I would prefer not to on a regular basis, to kind of bridge the outlet to the battery. So that's definitely an option, to either carry that or a small power strip. But it definitely will not fit into the horizontally oriented outlet. So The Hyperjuice battery pack, I'm not going to get into all the other details. There's plenty of other reviews that show it, but definitely something you can't live without. Again, it's the size of a very small paperback book. It is. You can easily hold it in one hand. Let me focus there for you, sorry. Very manageable. It's amazing to carry this much power in something that you can just slip in your backpack or briefcase, and you can't really live without it once you've got it. So, Peter Von Panda with the Hyperjuice Plug, 15,000 milliamp portable battery. Totally cool. Peter Von Panda out.